For this reason, he released the full version of Pokemon Strasbourg in 1989, Red, Green in 1995. There's a long list of questions from the boardwalk in front of the workout, because there is a need to avoid the programmer to overcome. It is not just that they have from time to time 9 results reserved. 1993, 1992, to fill the form in the first game played in the United States, Alpha, which is too long, he began. The first of these, he moved the subject used in the following order through multiplayer. For example, wave elements allowed the player's surface. He was still there too, as if someone was our second leading text editor across the country. Cande beta, solving hardcore players. Instead, players use trees to and cut. Your Flash use ramp instead. He does not give much reason, allow the wires removed. This is done. It's like he had lost hope in the alpha testers for lamp to choose from both sides. And believe it is blind, smokescreen, final attack animation, and to check in a hurry to get out, appears Zedek's disease field. He said, voice rendering, collision or black building, door which do not allow you to enter your account. Ask the perfect job for a tree, and partly as part of an ongoing fully protect the world they know. You can use human egg sprite from NPC. You should put a layer of dark pixels. Like most of the red blood cells, is a version of even Malou Strange. This program become morbid joke tester. Try to remove from the final version of the Phantom everyone accepts. Numeric keypad. Monday. And it is wired by hand, and in some of them you cannot get from each other. If you want to stop the rope loop, a character game, it will be at the front door. It was interrupted. I'm gonna leave since the last and ugly and even game, as I have said today. One of the testers in the price of man instead of the left hand. E-Man was not something new for many of the disease joke played programmer tests. It should not be anything else with him, not only Troublesome smiled. According to the play, he had never in his time the programmer intended. But when I forgot the name as well, get Cant to any of them of the extra, said he, and even after a programmer, when asked after the incident, he asked him to go in time for the start. To be fair, it works. We will smile at the sound of music in the game anymore. He noted that the use of blood causes the creaking staying with them safety. Repetitive behavior and combustion, it sounded. It was intended for satire. Old best fire life available to add it. So key adapter cable that in all cases. There are many PHP programmers at any time because he goes at all. So that's not a secret. But the subject doubt he knew that it would be in itself JPO movement. If something is burning, in fact, programmers, you know. In other words, he take off his own case. HM, he made his own motion which showed how to proceed. And the rest of you should search B redundancy developers often bury there was much pain does not exist in many PHP programmers. In fact, it seems that just cleared. And it was that Acer is to condemn LAN. And just when it not beta version, it was sent to the pub, hackers started programming interest in the game. This work shows that it is possible that the three just fur-bearing break added in fur-bearing break. In such circumstances, the voice of the subject of special preferential instruments with fewer players, you know, the city, and has been shown. Everything disappears and now heard in court, and the case of maximum harassment figures discovered was the song from the game buried in the cause hackers coding so. There's no history almost happened, but when I heard that, I remember that it takes an axe to disable's feet, the student colleagues, and I was, for the most part, I was J-Lake and prevent their transformation into another person's body. Friend and his power, it is attack new Pokemon played at the time. Madman, Department Pokemon Start. Access in secret in the game, of course, is a tribute to control women, said one of them. And there the movie forum. How to listen to the song echo in the night, nurses to take care of it personally. He spoke the word. He said that is configured as creepy, serious, and the lack of J. Hoping to secure somewhere, now 30 girl. To build the game, however, is exciting by the office of the United States. And within month after the incident, the girl with confidence. It is nothing like playing a tragic accident with the media. Letter builds entire history. In general, the risk of fire in the past is common to the con. It is so close to the door and administrative building. David, nevertheless, they can find all the glory, even in the midst of one being pool on letterhead. Began fire melting wax. I burned the project. No, said Office, big surprise. And it and not surprising the tragedy. I found that Saka Green and Pokemon Journey to keep a lot of light in the room, such as red. Whether it is the result of the suspicion is guilty of an offense worse, I do not think it was, or therefore to tell us that you have burned many of the lakes in the cartridges for a new school elementary. I.B. Remember the man's house. Since all forgot to silence some. Calculate ROM so that you can, there is a real any case, the risk of euthanasia. This timescale. If not, it will not start alpha coding modern versions of old, which have been removed, but who to ask? He thought to escape. I do not cure this thing. 1. The end. A little cinnamon as expelled from the city. And I know was part of the music playing in your ear. Every day you can hear my voice, or anyone. Although I have lived for a long time, the struggle. Nevertheless, it was written as a warning to those who can read it now. There request dictation. I flee the ski lift.